99.1 FM CKXS. Saturday back here, and we've got, of course, our All About Real Estate show that we do regularly here. Pete Allaer is in from Riverside Realty. How are you today?
Good, Greg. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm getting a little bit warmer, a little bit of meltdown that's happened in the last couple of days. And
Yes. We certainly have had our share of real type old-fashioned winter.
Yes, I think this is the kind of winter that my dad talked about. So,
yeah, I read somewhere, I think it said, is this the weather our parents walked to school in?
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah. And this weather is not deterring real estate at all, which is something a little uncommon, I think, right?
Yeah, it's very uncommon. I mean, it's this time of year normally it's quiet. You get the odd thing going on, but no, the sales are happening. Like I say every week, we don't have enough inventory. The sales are happening. It's, in and out, like every week.
Right. I see that apartment complex that they're building in Chatham is going to start taking people in March 1st.
Okay.
So will that free up some space, you think?
Well, I would say hopefully, depending on who would be going in. I would say it probably will, just because people are probably sitting in their houses waiting for something to go to, and and I'm assuming it would be sort of, let's say more senior orientated, and people that would be moving into that and selling their family home or something like that. So I would think it should.
Yeah, and I would encourage people. One of our advertisers here is Wellings of Corunna. Great facility for seniors to move into.
Right.
Might be something to consider, which is a little bit more independent. It's not necessarily a long-term care facility, more of a residence. And, that might be something for seniors who are listening to the show to consider, to sell the house now, put some cash in the bank, and then go live at a very convenient place like that.
Yeah, a lot of seniors will, they're people that have owned their homes forever. So I talked to some seniors out there about that, let's just say about renting versus owning. And it's just not in their DNA. Yeah. But sometimes it's like, when you are renting, you have zero worries, right? You pay your rent and that's it. You're not worried about, especially in something like that, no snow, if you want to travel, you lock the door, you leave. So there's something to be said about, I know when my mother, she moved to the Oaks, and we did the math, and when you first initially hear the price of it, you think, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But then when you actually break it down, she wasn't living free in her own home either, right? No. So those are some of the mathematical things you should almost figure out sometimes to say, okay, you all of a sudden, like at the Oaks, let's say, the food's provided and, cleaning and the room and all utilities, everything's all one price. So, and of course, like I say, the seniors who have always owned their own home, my mother, of course, was like, oh my God, this much money. And I said, well, you had bills to pay before.
Mm-hmm. You're paying taxes.
Exactly.
If you don't own your house, you're paying a mortgage, and those things will add up. That's the senior, but I know you wanted to touch on kind of more the new buyer today. It's kind of the focus of your program. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about ducks today.
Ducks.
About ducks, yes. and getting them in a row.
That's good advice.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about those ducks. How do we get them in a row?
Well, and it's more important than ever right now. If you are and we'll just say a new buyer. All buyers, but let's just say new buyers. You need more than ever to get everything prepared ahead of time.
Because of the market right now?
Exactly, because what happens is, things move so quickly, we don't have time to sort of... It used to be where you'd look at a few houses, and I'd show 4 or 5 different houses to a young couple, and then they sort of slowly worked their way into, maybe wanting to make an offer, and then we had time. We could put in offers with, 10 days for banking or all these things. Well, unfortunately, we don't have that today. So the market has basically squeezed it down to, if you're lucky, you'll get an accepted offer condition on financing, but you better be going in with conditional financing like 3 to 5 days, 5 days max.
Wow.
And 3 even better, right? Well, how do you do that? Well, the only way you do that is if you do all this work ahead of time. So when I say get ducks in a row, I'm talking about, talk to your mortgage people, whether it's your bank, I personally, I prefer my clients to deal with mortgage specialists. A lot of the banks have gone to this system where they use a mortgage specialist. It's nice to deal with a mortgage specialist because that's all they do.
Right.
Talk to your mortgage specialist. If they ask you for paperwork, get the paperwork to them. I can't stress that enough. If they ask for pay stubs or notice of assessments for income or other debt, the other thing is don't lie to them. Tell them what you have for debt because it's going to come out. Mm-hmm. I've had it so many times where last minute they forgot to mention the car loan. They forgot to mention the credit card, the student loan. You need to tell them all that stuff because that's going to affect you getting a mortgage. Mm-hmm. And if you go all the way down the road and all of a sudden it's, what about the student loan of $15,000 that you forgot to tell me about? Those are the kind of things that mess these deals up, right?
To go back to planning, and I've seen this happen before, what you should consider doing is get rid of all your credit cards as much as you possibly can, right? I mean, because when they look at your credit, they're not just looking at, if you've got 4 credit cards and you have nothing on them, you're thinking, wow, good for me, right?
Right.
But when they look at potential how much debt you could have, then that's another story. So if you only need 1 or 2 credit cards, then have that. You start adding in your gas cards and your furniture loan cards or whatever and you've got, next thing you'll get 6 or 7 credit cards and you have the potential of debt of $100,000.
Yeah.
That's not so good.
No, and there's so many different avenues now with credit, right? Like you can go into a furniture store and put something on credit.
Right.
You go, you name it, everything's credit. So there's a lot of avenues to spend money or get credit. So just make sure that, you if you have any of those areas that you do have debt, make sure you divulge that. And at the end of the day, if you want to buy a house, sorry car dealers, but the best thing you can do is buy your house first. And after you own the house, then buy your new car or your whatever, because all those payments will negatively affect you getting a mortgage. Mm-hmm. And people just need to know that, right? That you,
and hey, no slight against you need a car too, but just do it in a different order.
Yeah,
because that big purchase of a house has value. It's going to appreciate, whereas a car, we all know that, is going to depreciate.
Right. At the end of the day, it's all about making sure the debt,
right?
You divulge all debt. And then like I say, so many people, it's like, the mortgage specialist will say, I need this 5 different pieces of paperwork. And then I like to be in touch with the mortgage specialist and the client just to kind of help everyone, stay on the same page. And then the mortgage specialist will be like, well, yeah, but Bill hasn't sent me, the paperwork yet. And I'm waiting for the paperwork, or he sent me the wrong paperwork or outdated paperwork. So, again, as a buyer, first-time buyer, get all that stuff in order, get it in quickly, get your pre-approvals, figure out your down payment on how much you have, get all that stuff in ahead of time so that when now all of a sudden the house does come for sale, and honestly, like right now in Wallaceburg, we have like 3 houses for sale, right? So right now you have to be ready. Like you have to have the gun loaded in your hand and your finger on the trigger, ready to go. There's no right now that you don't have the luxury of being able to prepare, like once you find something. It's just too many buyers. So, and then the other thing too is you have to put a deposit down on if you do get an accepted offer. There's the deposit. So have some money available to put a deposit on. And again, it's prepare. And the best way to prepare is reach out to people like myself. It's okay to reach out to us ahead of time to say, okay, what do I need, right? What how do I do this? Like, we'll walk you through it. No
it's
problem.
Not rocket science. I mean, you just need the recipe. Here's the recipe on how you have the best chance to get the next house that comes up for sale.
That's right. And unfortunately, I do feel really bad for first-time buyers, especially ones that are, even more so local first-time buyers because, they are competing against, like I've said before, 50% of what we sell is out-of-town people, and they're competing against they're competing against investors. They're competing against out-of-town people. They're competing against people downsizing. The competition is fiercer than ever before, and I feel bad for them, but I guess it is what it is.
Right.
We can't change it right now, so we just have to prepare them. And the other thing too is, be prepared as a first-time buyer to, you have your wish list, but sometimes you have to realize that, okay, for me to get in the market, maybe I have to, take some things off my list, right? And it's okay to do that. We've all started certain ways and in certain houses, and right now, we have to kind of somewhat, if you're in this hard competition, you have to give somewhere, right? And say, okay, well, yeah, I wanted 3 bedrooms and a master bedroom with an ensuite. Well, hey, you know what? Maybe you're going to have to go without the ensuite, right? So these kind of things, reduce your list a bit, and that will help you to possibly get in the market.
Okay. All right. Good advice there for those first-time buyers out there. Hopefully that helps you out just a little bit. We've got Pete Allaer in with us today from Riverside Realty. We'll take a break here, and coming up, we'll talk more on the legal side of things. We're going to do that with the Anderson Law Group. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit, and I think you have a listing that we'll get to as well, right?
We have a listing.
All right. Stay tuned to 99.1 FM. 99.1 FM CKXS. We continue with the All About Real Estate show. We do it on Saturday mornings here. Pete Allaer is here from Riverside Realty with a listing to talk about today. What do you got?
Yes, we have a listing. Few and far between nowadays, but we do have one here. It's 1131 Elgin Street here in Walsburg. It's a great starter home, we'll say. Very well kept inside. It's an older home that's been, lots of work done to it. A nice area. It's got the alleyway in behind there on Elgin, so you've got access from the Elgin and the alleyway, and it's got a little one-car garage at the back. And yeah, nice place. It's been quite popular. I think the last count was something like 35 to 40 showings.
Holy cow.
I know, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It is. But
as you said earlier on, 3 houses in Wallaceburg right now?
Yeah. So, yes. So you get these listings, and it's I think the price on it is $199.9. So that seems to be the center of the bullseye right now. And there's just a lot of buyers in that price range. And I would encourage people not. I know it's discouraging, but don't get discouraged. If you're interested, like I said earlier, get all your ducks in a row, and then go in and especially if you haven't done any offers yet, don't be afraid to go ahead and put an offer in on something. You may not get it, but even just doing it once or twice will help you to learn as a buyer, kind of learn, and that's where we can help you. We can walk you through all this and coach you. I always coach my buyers. I kind of talk to them about, okay, it's $199.9. The fact is that there's going to be multiple offers, like nine out of 10 times. If there is, these are the things I recommend. Yep. And if it's meant to be, hope it'll happen. If it's not, well, it's not the last house in the world, and we can. But just doing it once or twice, even if you don't get the house, is a good exercise to do, so that you get sort of a little more comfortable with the offer process. You get a little more comfortable with the agent you're working with. This is where I say that it's always very important to choose an agent who you trust and who knows the market and can walk you through these things, and then stick with that agent. Don't jump all over the place, because in this market it's important to stick with an agent and have that person kind of hold your hand all the way through. But this is it's a nice place. It'll be an interesting, who knows how the number of offers. Some of these offers now in town were up to 7, 8, 9, 10 offers, and offers from all over the place.
If you don't get it, it just wasn't meant to be this time.
Yes.
Another one will come.
No, that's exactly right. It is frustrating. I'm not trying to say it's not.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It's
I'm
very
so
frustrating.
thankful I'm not looking to buy a house.
I agree. I mean, it's tough. It is tough. But it is what it is, right? So sometimes it's like, we can't change it. We don't make the rules. We just follow them, and there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. But hopefully, March is right around the corner. Hopefully in March, we'll start to free up a few more, and like you say, maybe some of these things that are happening, whether it be in Chatham or
help,
whatever. But I also wanted to mention, I wanted to do another shout out to some loyal listeners out there.
Okay, who do you got today?
Well, it seems as though we've pretty much handcuffed the Tupperville area.
Nice.
They are,
there's
yes, they 100%. So the GTA there, they are just, they're tuning in every single week. I think they actually, it's like, what show was on where they used to have those parties? Remember they had those was it Bachelor or something where they had like those parties? Well, they're having like every Saturday morning.
They tune in and have a party.
Yeah,
around
it's like
this
a
show.
breakfast. It's like a breakfast party. They all sit around waiting for 9 o'clock to roll around to listen to us. Yeah, and I think they're up to four of them.
4 people.
One includes a dog, but anyways, that's okay. The dog's happy too. So my buddy Johnny, I want to just say shout out to them, and I think having coffee, maybe even with Bailey's in it or something, just to try and
I would encourage it. I think we sound a lot better with alcohol.
Absolutely, yes, that's right. And you can believe what we say every time.
There he is, Pete Allaer from Riverside Realty, and on the All About Real Estate show for this week. We'll see you next week, right across the area from Wallaceburg to Tupperville, Thamesville, and all the places in between. Have a great day.